Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name is Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis for uranium. We're going to go over the physical, and then we're going to get into a lot of companies and stuff like that. So let's take a look. Let's see what the charts are telling us. I've already looked at the charts, and I'll be honest, it's a mixed bag. It's going to be a tough read. So I see some that are putting in bottoms. I see some that just went up. So I think that we're trying to put in a bottom and we're about to go up. If you look at, I would say 30% of them. But they're pretty strong patterns. So let's get in. I'll show you what I'm looking at. It's a difficult read, this one. And I'll show you. Now, the first one is the physical pounds. This is, I think, delayed a little bit. So I think we were up a little bit today. It's delayed by a day. So we were down here. So I'm going to jump right into URNM. I mean, obviously, you can tell that this physical price is matching the price of the ETFs. Now, I wish this extended a little bit lower and we could have got, a little bit more of a stronger closing, but it's close. We came on down. We have this hammer pattern where it reversed higher and the momentum was upward. Today we went up, but we could go a little bit more sideways. Maybe we keep going up. Difficult read. It's much like a day like this where you kind of bounce sideways for a little bit before moving up is probably what my guess would be. So more sideways movement before a launch higher. But nonetheless, it is a higher low if we hold here. And that's what we want to see. We want to see a low, a higher low, and then a higher low. Camco, again, this isn't necessarily a bottoming pattern here. So I think we're going to probably do a little bit more sideways bouncing around before we see another launch higher, so to speak, or impulse move higher. Next Gen Energy, it's the same thing. We're coming on down. We have a little reversal hammer pattern. We came on up, and then we came back a little bit with a wick at the top. So I think we're going to bounce back and forth for a little bit. Hopefully this line down here holds at the 50-day-ish. That would be a higher low. We've got kind of a black candlestick. So we opened up. Momentum came down a little bit throughout the day. I think that we're probably going to head a little bit lower tomorrow for fission, but again, I think we're just going to bounce sideways a little bit before moving on up. And then we got fission, again, another black candlestick. Usually these resolve a little bit lower the next day, but hard to say. I think we'll have a small down day. That's kind of my guess before moving up. And same with standard uranium. I think we're going to just kind of bounce down a little bit. Nothing large. I'm not talking about a huge sell-off. I'm not talking about anything that's dramatic or anything like that. There's the uptrend line. So I think we're just kind of go somewhere in this 28-cent range or 29 or 30, somewhere in this range in here. Now, Canalaska, we have a wick at the top, but we have a kind of a buying, almost a bullish engulfing pattern. These are difficult to read because if you get a bullish engulfing with a wick at the top, it means that it tried trading up, but it sold off. We still have a bullish engulfing pattern, which means it could go on higher. So kind of a mixed bag where this thing's going to go, but I think it's sideways to higher is what I'm seeing. And then Sky Harbor, this one's got a clear bullish engulfing. It ended pretty strong. I would say easily higher here. Now, when you look at these things, you always want to look to the left, and the support is in this range here. So you've got good support all through this range here. So what I think's happening is it broke through, it back tested, and now we came bounced, and we're putting another one. I think we're going to launch higher soon. I think we're going to go higher. Sky Harbor looks good. Pure Point Uranium, this one also looks good. We're putting in higher lows. We're probably at a low point. So, I mean, it's up to you on what you want to do, but looks good here. Base load, yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks like we're trying to put in a bottom where we may have a little down day tomorrow or something, or maybe we take off. But overall, this looks like a big cup and handle pattern that's developing. And then eventual break of $105, wherever this resistance there is in here, and then a break higher. Azincourt looks good as well. We broke this downtrend line there in the back, came up, and we're kind of just bouncing sideways. We need to close. We want to stay above 7 cents. We want to close above 10 cents. Even better would be above 11 cents. Denison Mines. Oh man, this is, I think we're going to move a little bit more sideways, but notice we have higher lows. And if this holds, it'd be a higher low, and then we'll probably try to break up to the upside here soon. Got a little wick at the top. That's what's making me pause. If it ended strong, I'd say it's good to go to roll higher. It could go higher. It's right there at that point where you're like, sideways or higher. UUUUs, nice strong finish, good bullish engulfing pattern. We're probably going higher. And if some of these are exhibiting this, like I would then revert back to say this is sideways to higher. That's probably where it's going to go. And this is probably going higher. So if this is going higher, this is probably going higher too with it. UEC's got a little wick at the top. Again, with the wicks, it came up, sold off throughout the day. It's still okay. We have support right underneath this thing. So it's a low risk spot here, I think. I think we're going to probably eventually resolve upward. Just by looking at the candlesticks here, it's got a hammer pattern. So it came down, reversed, came up, reversed. We may have a small down day tomorrow, but eventually we'll work our way higher. URG, we've got support right underneath here. I think it's, yeah, if you guys like it down here, not too bad. Not really down here. It's still pretty high, but higher lows stepping in if it holds. Looks good as an uptrend to move higher. Same with UROI. Low, higher low, higher low. We're just stepping up. If we can break this area up here at 550, we could see another pop move, move higher. Kind of an impulse move. And Encore Energy looks good here too. What happens is you come up, you find support. Support's all through here in the $135 range. And we have a big buying pressure day here and a slow leak off of sellers. We're probably going to see a move higher very soon. I think Encore Energy looks good. And Deep Yellow looks good. Big buying pressure moves, slow leak off of sellers. Big buying pressure, slow leak off of sellers. Bullish engulfing, kind of a bullish piercing pattern here. I think we're probably going to resolve upwards at some point soon. Bannerman, bullish engulfing pattern right here. And what a bullish engulfing pattern is, I'll draw it real quick for everyone so you guys know exactly what a bullish engulfing is and what all these patterns mean. So you get like a small down day, and then you get a big up day like this. And then so that's a down day, this is an up day. And what I'm talking about is that this guy engulfs the day before it. That's what this means. So this one engulfs the day before it, which means it shadows anything that falls within this region, and it could be another small down day before it, like here, with a little wick at the top, and let's say that's a down day there. Another down day. This is engulfing the two before it, and what that means is that this is going to resolve upward. It's a reversal candlestick pattern, and sometimes you see multiples in a row, which means that eventually it's going to resolve upward. And that's what I'm looking for, our reversal candlestick. So the stock was trading down, and then it went down like this and came back up. And the trend line is broken to the downside, that trend line. So now you broke the downtrend line right there. And then you'll see it pull back and then probably take off. Higher low, higher high. And there's your break of a new uptrend. So when you look at these patterns here, we have a bullish engulfing of this pattern of the candlestick before it, which is going to resolve, I think, upward. And it doesn't mean that if tomorrow is a down day, that it's nullified. It will probably still go up eventually. This also is a bullish piercing. So we have a bullish piercing. It tried selling off and then another bullish engulfing. So this is, I think, right here is where I would be buying Bannerman myself. And Forces Metals, another thing that you see in these patterns, if you guys want to know, is let's say you have a very large up candlestick. And then what you see is you see these candlesticks that pull back like this. And then what you really want to see, they usually pull back to like the bottom here. And then you want to see this. So what I'm going to do is, these are all little down days. This guy is a big up day here. Put it black. And then you get this slow leak off of sellers like this. And it usually comes almost to the bottom. This is a bullish engulfing pattern here, this day there. This is going to resolve upward. I always see this. And this is the leak off of sellers here. Each of these days coming down is a slow leak off of sellers. And this is the big buying pressure day here. So it shot higher, slow leak off of sellers, and then we put in a bullish engulfing. Like, this is where I load up. I mean, I load up somewhere in this half here, usually. That's where I buy the living poop out of it. And we don't necessarily have that big bullish engulfing yet, but see the big buying pressure of the two big candlesticks and then the small sell-off pressure? It usually comes back to about almost the base of this, and then it rockets higher. So I would be a buyer here in Forces Metals. And even when you look at a lot of these patterns here, see, you've got support all down underneath here. There's a bunch of support. So I think this is a super low risk area to be buying. And in fact, if you draw this through here, we broke out, came back, broke out, came back. This is going to resolve upward, I think, and it's probably going to have a big move. So Forces Metals is one that I like right here. That's what I definitely like, that one. Govix is another one I really like because it's the same concept that we've been talking about just on Forces. What you have is you have we broke through this, and there's sellers. Usually what happens is you break through, you sell off, and you do a retest. This is the retest here. We threw a bullish piercing pattern here. That's what this candlestick is. So we came with big buying pressure, smaller selling pressure. Bullish piercing is going to go higher. We had a couple more down days. Came higher, came back again. This is where this is a low risk area to buy for a move higher, like right here for Govix. That's again, guys, this is not advice. This is where I am buying. Govix looks great, and Global Atomic looks good because we're still above this support. Support's right underneath this. So if you get it wrong, you come right back to support. If you get it right, you get a big move higher. Low risk, high reward. And I bought Laramide today. I did. It's a little bullish engulfing pattern. It was down at 70 cents. The entire other portion of this, the other portion of the sector they were all going up with pretty big up days, and this thing was down a little bit, so I added a little bit more into it. And it ended up with a bullish engulfing pattern, which I think will probably resolve upward. Appia Energy is one I'm continuing to watch as well. We've got support underneath here, right there. A bunch of support all through here. So I think our downside's right in here somewhere. So I think in this area would be a good spot to be looking to buy as long as it holds. Then on the upside, we're putting in this pattern here. And hopefully this doesn't break to the downside, guys. And you could also maybe draw this pattern more. You could put a slight lean to it like that, where we could be at a bottoming right here. So tomorrow, if it holds this bottom rail, if you draw it like this, which is a stronger line, I would be looking to buy Appia Energy right in this 55-cent area if it holds tomorrow. And if you put a wick and it comes back up, that's another good sign, like this hammer pattern here. It shows that buyers are down here. Buyers like myself. We got International Consolidated Uranium. Looks okay. We got the small down day, which I thought we were going to get. And we've got support underneath this all through here. So this one doesn't look too bad either. Kazatomprom just moving on up, small down days, big up days. I think it will resolve higher over time. Peninsula Energy, downtrend break. Downtrend break will probably break this little pattern here at some point. Looks like we got some buyers today underneath it, so hopefully resolve upward. Boss Energy, this one looks fantastic. Big buying pressure, small selling pressure. It's continuing that pattern. So I think we're going to just continue upward. Looks good. Lotus Resources, coming on up. Big buying pressure, small selling pressure. I think the pattern will continue. We just got to break these patterns and move on up. And then Valor Metals, looking good. Nothing too bad really to say here. We've got support all about 28 cents, 32 cents. We're right at support of this area here. Doesn't look bad to pick some up. Paladin Energy, We have our big buying, our bullish engulfings right here. We broke the downtrend pattern. This was an easy setup to make a lot of money going on up. Coming back, bullish engulfing, probably going to go higher. Big buying pressure, small selling pressure. We'll probably work our way higher here. Centrus, my lord. We broke this big pattern back here, which was a launching pad for this to just launch higher. Looks fantastic. Just hold on to it. Hold on to it, baby. Man, that thing's moving fast. That's a 3x from down here. Blue Sky Uranium, downtrend break. We broke up to the upside. We're consolidating. We have support right underneath it. I think it's a good spot if you guys like it for 27 cents, 28 cents, if you like the company. And ISO Energy. Looks like we've got a little pattern developing here. Lots of selling pressures. We try to move up at $4. Good buying pressure underneath it. It's kind of just wedged up right now. I don't know which way this is going to break, but looking at the overall sector, it looks like it wants to move higher, so I would guess that this is going to break to the upside, just by looking at the rest of the sector. So that's what I have for today. Hopefully you guys learned a little something, kind of what to look for in some of the charts in terms of buying pressure. Big up days, small down days, where to buy and where I pick things off. Most of the time, it comes back to the bottom of the big buying pressure candlestick or candlesticks. It could be many of them. And sometimes they don't go all the way back down. So you get big buying pressure, and then the selling pressure is smaller. It'll contract down, and then I buy it right there, and then it launches higher. This is more of a trading technique, but investing, it works as well because you can get the bottoms of some of these. You get a nice big move higher, makes you feel good, and you see your account in the green. Psychologically, it's a little bit easier to hold something that's up versus something that you kind of mistimed and it's down. But either way, psychologically, I'm like a fortress now just because I've seen so much. And I see these patterns all the time, so it gets ingrained into you. So I think it's not a for sure thing, but I think we're going to continue on its path higher for uranium overall. I see some of these patterns are looking good, like Bannerman, bullish engulfing, Laramide. Some of these other ones that they're breaking patterns, they're right at kind of resistance levels, and when they break, they're going to take off. So I like buying them before they break. And if I'm wrong a little bit, if we see 5% more downside or something like that, I just cost average in and buy a little bit more. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.